fun.
Charlemagne the devil?
Possibly. The Breakfast Club.
Jesus Christ, it's cold in here right now, man. It's freezing. Donkey of the day for Wednesday, August 30th goes the right-wing media pundit Ann Coulter. Now, it's no secret to nobody at this point that Ann Coulter is garbage, okay? I like to call her Raggedy Ann. I have no problem with people who don't think like me. I actually welcome it, but Ann Coulter doesn't think like any human on this planet. Or maybe she does, and thankfully I just don't have to interact with people who think like her or, ever. At least that's what I pray for. Now, we all see what the great state of Texas is dealing with when it comes to Hurricane Harvey. It's a natural disaster of epic proportions, and the key word is natural disaster. It's a hurricane, it's flooding, it's things that are totally out of man's control. Now, do I believe in God? Yes. Can I explain why things like this happen under the direction of God? No. So when people say things like this is God's punishment to Texas, first thing I think is, well, what about all the good God-fearing people in Texas who worship and praise God every day? Do they deserve to get punished? It makes absolutely no sense to me when people talk like that, but some things are out of my realm of understanding. And frankly, it's insensitive and doesn't even matter. Okay, what matters is that people affected by this hurricane get help, period. But Raggedy Ann Coulter doesn't have any kind of empathy or sensitivity towards anybody or anything, because she tweeted out, and I quote, "I don't believe Hurricane Harvey is God's punishment for Houston electing a lesbian mayor, but that is more credible than climate change." What?
Wow.
I repeat.
What? Oh, my gosh.
I repeat, Ann Coulter tweeted out, "I don't believe Hurricane Harvey is God's punishment for Houston electing a lesbian mayor, but that is more credible than climate change." Now, the mayor she is speaking about is Houston's Anise Parker, one of the first openly gay mayors of a major U.S. city, who served from 2010 to 2016. Now, there's so much wrong with this statement. Number one, it's homophobic and super bigoted towards the LGBT. Number two, she's not even the mayor anymore. She was the mayor from 2010 to 2016, I believe. Now, just to humor Raggedy Ann Coulter a little, why would the natural disaster wait until she leaves to hit? Wouldn't it make more sense to do it while she was actually in office? And third, for her to say that Hurricane Harvey hit in Houston because they elected a lesbian mayor is more of a credible reason than climate change. It's not just stupid, but it's scientifically and factually wrong. I don't know why certain people keep acting like climate change is a hoax. But it's not, ladies and gentlemen. Climate change made Hurricane Harvey more deadly. Now, there is no way for you to prove that someone's sexuality, who they choose to love, made Harvey more deadly. But there is factual scientific evidence to prove that climate change did make Hurricane Harvey more deadly. Okay, Raggedy Ann Coulter, you have the same access to Google that I do. And it's a great article and video on Vox. You should read the article and watch the video on Vox. Salute to Vox. You should check it out. It's great information on there. In fact, it's only a 3-minute video, but I'll play some of it for you. Just give me 45 seconds of it, courtesy of Vox. Listen to this, what they have to say about climate change and its effect on hurricanes.
Hurricanes are driven by the transfer of heat from the sea to the air through evaporation. The storm's maximum possible wind speed, or its potential intensity, depends in part on how warm the ocean is. And of course, we're warming the ocean. So researchers expect intense tropical cyclones to become more frequent if we continue to warm the planet. This is from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. It summarizes the computer model results for tropical cyclones near the end of the century compared to today. The first bar represents the total number of tropical cyclones globally. That's projected to go down a bit. But the second bar represents the frequency of the most intense storms, categories 4 and 5, and the models show those increasing. And that's bad news because those are the storms that cause the most damage and the biggest loss of life. This fourth bar, it represents the amount of rain that hurricanes will bring, and that's going up. The hurricanes of the future will be wetter.
Now, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, I think they know what they're talking about, right? Any organization with that many syllables should know what they're talking about. Go watch the full video on Vox if you want more information on climate change and how it affects hurricanes. But I just want to ask you one question. What have you learned today, kids? What have you learned from Uncle Charlotte today? Well, we've learned that lesbians and no member of the LGBT is responsible for these natural disasters. We also learned that climate change is real and it's making hurricanes more dangerous. And we have also learned that it has been scientifically proven that Ann Coulter blows more hot air than any hurricane. Please give Raggedy Ann Coulter the biggest hee-haw, please. Jesus Christ. Can people
are just reckless.
Can you have a little bit more empathy in times like this? Jesus Christ, man.
My goodness.